Hi, I'm Jen Tripp, Executive Director of the Arlington Chamber of Commerce. One of the benefits of membership is networking events. Each month, the Women's Networking Group presents a speaker at its breakfast. Karen Samuelson of Vocation Destination presented Cultivating Confidence from the Inside Out. Karen has been a career and life coach for 8 years with a private practice right here in Arlington. She has her master's degree in teaching and communication and is certified as a global career development facilitator and a life coach. Besides helping clients with resumes and cover letters, she also teaches writing to Harvard employees and has just completed her 3rd screenplay. Karen explored how to nurture inner confidence in our rapidly changing cultural and economic landscape. She discussed how our beliefs limit or enhance us and what you can do about them. I hope you enjoyed the presentation.
Good morning, everybody. Our topic today is confidence. Does everyone have confidence from the inside out? The last speaker was more about confidence from the outside in. If you notice, I have on the black pants without the pockets that she mentioned. It's about the only thing, I think. Does everyone have the folder, the handout? So anyhow, has anyone been bungee jumping? Anyone here?
I just went.
You did?
No, I didn't.
You bungee jumped? Okay.
No, I'm saying no to this. No.
That's okay. Anyhow, it's funny. I got this picture on Google, and it looks a lot like my ex-boss, which is really bizarre. Anyhow, but it wasn't her. So, confidence is a slippery slope sometimes for all of us. It's a work in progress. It's something that some people struggle with at different times in your life. You struggle with. Sometimes you feel great. Sometimes you get knocked down. We all do in life. And how do you build that back up? So you go, girl, and you miss 100% of the shots you never take. That's from a hockey player. I put that in because of you, Jen.
Thank you very much.
Jen's a hockey player. Anyone else a hockey player?
I am with right here.
All right, yay. Anyhow, you get the point. You miss 100% of the shots you never take. If you don't try, you're never going to learn. So I'm going to read this from Marianne Williamson, and I think I have like a lot here. So hopefully we'll get through the main parts, and the other parts you can read. Is anyone familiar with Marianne Williamson from the Course in Miracles? Okay, this is a quote from her. It has God in it a couple times. If that doesn't feel comfortable, I'll put in energy too. So our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God or energy. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God, energy that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Has anyone ever had this feeling that you've held back for some reason? How many people have had? And why is that? I'm going to ask everyone to be very participatory because that's my style, and that's how it'll be a richer experience.
Mostly it was to put others before myself. So I held back things I wanted to do for other people.
Okay, so other people's priorities were more important than your own goals, okay? Anybody else holding back?
Being concerned that I might say something that would upset.
Okay, not wanting to be too controversial. Okay, anybody else?
Maybe not doing it correctly. Doing it
Oh,
perfectly.
okay, yeah, being afraid to make mistakes publicly.
Being concerned about, risk, like, oh, if I do this, then blah, 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 this could happen, that could happen, so.
Okay, fear of, what's the next step? I remember in grade school and middle school being afraid to be sort of too smart, like not raise my hands too much because the boys wouldn't like me. And, like holding back that way. And then I think sometimes that we get messages too from other people. And then we hold back because of them, but really inside of us there is that strength or that gift or that talent. Okay, so now we're on page 2. What do you think confidence means? It comes from Latin, confidere. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I never took Latin, but it's to have full trust in oneself, to believe in oneself. And I love this quote. It is not what you say out of your mouth that determines your life. It's what you whisper to yourself that has the most power. So I really believe that. It's what you believe about yourself. No matter what, and it's odd because like someone like Barbra Streisand, who has this gorgeous voice, still has performance anxiety. So it's kind of like, what do you really believe, really deep down about your capabilities and what you can do? And this is one of my favorite quotes in the whole world. It's on my website. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. To kind of really listen to, who am I? I always work with people on what are my skills, what are my interests, what are my values, where do I want to be in the world, where do I want to bring my gifts? We all have different gifts and unique gifts, and I think the happiest people are those who are the most honest and true to the gifts that they have and the talents that they have. So right now I'd like you to think a little bit about your own strengths and your own gifts and your own talents. And I want you to draw, and you have my handy dandy pen if you need a pen, and kind of draw your house of confidence. What are your core strengths? What are some of the foundations that you feel good about yourself no matter what? Like you can go into any situation and have that. And then maybe what are some of the skills or strengths that you've learned at school or you've just developed from life experience or traveling or being a partner or a mother or a dog owner? Do you know what I mean? Is this clear to everybody? No? Maybe I'm not very confident about my drawing. I am like not a good artist. So here's my house, right? Under here for me, I might put some of my core strengths I think are compassion, listening, writing, and then up here could be teaching. I learned how to teach, coaching, and then you can even put in areas where you might want to grow and put a question mark. Now, does that make sense? And please be more creative than I can be. Although, just to give you an example, I am a stick figure person, and I feel pathetic about that. And my students would always make fun of my drawings on the board. So I went and I stretched, which is one of the techniques for building your confidence, and I took drawing from the right side of the brain at the Boston Center for Adult Ed, and I was able to draw very painstakingly. But I drew. It was really like, I can do this. But I'm not going to choose to do it because it takes me too long. All right, so just take a few minutes and draw your house. And if you're having any trouble, you can maybe think of the main areas of your life, like where you might, like in finances, maybe you're strong, or your family life, or relationships. Think of your home life, different areas. Don't be shy.
Can you just run us through it one more time? I got the bottom part, but what are we doing in the house?
Some of the things I listed were, okay, sort of your innate talents or natural abilities. What other skills have you acquired through education, degrees, certificates, volunteering, something you practice, entrepreneurism, travel, art? It's kind of general, and I want you to be creative about your own house. You may have a big room where you want to explore more. Maybe you always want to like study the piano, or do Toastmasters. But when I coach people with work a lot, it is focused around work, but we create a profile for the top of their resume, and it really involves their core strengths. Like, are they detail-oriented, or are they a really resourceful person? So things like that. Soft skills and hard skills. Does that help? If I said, okay, who are you? What are your basic strengths as a human being? Anybody else stuck? And don't be shy, own them.
It's a good exercise.
sometimes people don't really stop and acknowledge all the strengths that they have. I'm still impressed with the bungee jumper in the back of the room. I can't even look at the picture without going, "Ooh." Okay, and you know, you can finish this up later. I think this is something that you just start to think about and you work on. Any comments on that? Anybody want to share? Was that hard to do, easy to do?
Hard.
Hard? Yeah, I saw you smiling too. What was hard about it?
I don't know, it's hard to assess your inner self to be confident enough to say, oh, I'm good at this and I'm good at that. And so obviously, you know, confidence was at the top of my list of things.
This was at the top of your list, okay. Well, can you share one thing that you do feel that you're strong at, that you're good at?
I just put like basic things, honest, friendly, I have a strong family value.
Okay.
You know, I'm good with money. I try to be positive.
Those are, okay, great, all core values. Did doing this make anyone think about something they might want to do? Or an area they might stretch in? Kathy?
So I want to learn how to paint better.
Oh.
Mary Ellen and I have been doing those, we did a paint night at Whole
Yeah.
Foods to benefit AYCC.
Yeah.
And I just realized how much we both enjoyed the painting.
Okay.
And I never thought I could even paint anything.
There you go, there you go. So a little bit more confidence. Yeah, and in the Heights, there's gonna be a whole place
Art
that
line.
does that, I believe.
Yeah.
Anybody else surprise themselves with some of their strengths or something that they want to try doing?
I had an interesting one.
Okay.
It's kind of the opposite. I wrote, I want to worry less about family.
Oh,
And I know that's really weird.
no, that's not weird. Can you hear her?
Yep.
Wants to worry less about family. I like to worry less about my
Right?
family.
I
Who
mean,
wouldn't
it's
want to worry less about their
Such a big
family?
responsibility, but when you're
Alright.
honest with yourself and what you do every day, I just kind of felt like, gee, I wish I didn't have to worry so much about everybody.
Yeah.
So,
All right, and in some of the tips too, it's kind of like how to say no to some things, how to keep yourself out of negative situations, either with people or conversations or something. So there may be ways you can think of to minimize that worry, where you delegate responsibilities, or you have a different way of looking at it. And some of that is, you know, really having a different perception of the situation. Do you know what I mean? So we can talk about that later too.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Yeah.
Take a photography class.
Oh, good. You going to do that?
I was wanting to.
Wanting to take a photography class. Okay, so you got a lot of adult ed places you can take it? All right. So now I wanted to focus a little bit more on what are the challenges to confidence, because that's kind of the heart of this, and then how do you deal with some of those challenges? What can challenge your confidence? Or even, like, you know, cut it down at the knee. You ever have a parent or a teacher say something and you still remember it, like from second grade? I do. So what are some challenges to, again, it's a work in progress, to maintaining confidence, to build your confidence. We're all human beings, so what are some challenges?
I think a big one is self-doubt. Just
Okay.
That little voice. That little voice. That little voice.
Self-doubt. Okay, the bad voice, the, what do we call, in coaching, we call that the gremlins.
the
Okay.
gremlins, I like
The
that.
gremlins, they come at you, no, you can't do this. Okay, self-doubt, gremlins. The gremlins of self-doubt. And then sometimes you have to think, where does the self-doubt come from? Where did you own that belief that, oh, I better not try that, or I don't think I'll be good at that, or I'm not good enough, you know? So that's even like another step back. But of course, this isn't major therapy here, this is just a workshop. But if you really do have strong self-doubts in some area, and it's stopping you from moving forward, it may be time to see a therapist to figure out where's that coming from? What's that about? Is there another way I can look at it? Is there another belief I can have, or an affirmation? What else challenges your confidence?
Actually failing at something.
Okay. Trying and failing. Can you think of anything in particular? Has anyone tried something and failed and then thought, I'm not doing that again?
You've never failed at anything.
I knew that, Jen. I was looking at you. I'm trying to think.
I
Yeah.
tried to ski.
You what?
I tried to ski and it was a disaster, so I said I'm never doing it again.
I said that, but I did do it again.
Right, that's the thing, trying and failing, but
10
then
years later, but I did.
maybe trying again, possibly. Someone else had their hand up about failing, trying and failing.
Personal relationships, friends or others.
Okay, so with relationships, okay. And then sometimes I think we try things to decide if we like them, or if we're good at them, or if they're worth doing. I mean, so sometimes you feel, but no one can be great at everything, right? Except for Jen. So
Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Karen. No pressure.
no pressure, no pressure. So, you know, I think there's a lot of elimination, you know, and I don't think, let's use a different word besides failing. Trying and just not doing well.
Not getting the results you thought you were going to get?
All right, so we'll press this out. Just trying and not getting expected results. I think the way you talk to yourself about these things is really important. And I'm going to introduce the 4 agreements, which some of you might know. How many people are familiar with the 4 agreements? Okay, one of them is be impeccable with your words, and that means be impeccable with what you say to other people. Don't gossip, don't say bad things, but also be impeccable about the words you say to yourself, okay? So if you say, oh my God, you know, I dated this, like I'm a relationship failure. Say you did a serial dating thing with 3 people, you know, but maybe you're not, you don't have to look at it like a failure. You could look at it like you're somebody who's adventurous, you tried this, it didn't work out. There will be a different experience if you keep trying. What else can challenge confidence?
I think in business, rejection. So for example, submitting a proposal for something and not, you know, winning work, or having it not be the right fit.
Okay, so rejection, like in business or any other way? Rejection, one of them could be in business, yeah?
Unexpected crises or emergencies that challenge you in a way they haven't been before.
Okay. Unexpected crises.
And like new challenges, I would put that in the same.
Can you give an example? I think it's always helpful if you can.
Well, for myself, last year I moved into a new job,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, everything on my plate was new, and I hadn't done it before.
Mm.
And I really didn't have any foundation for trusting myself that I knew how to do any of that.
Okay, so like a new job, a new relationship. So everything, every day is like, wow, a learning curve. So you can see it as a learning curve, and you can see it as a potential for failure, but it's also a potential for growth. And you don't even have to put the failure in. You can just say everything's a potential for growth. And even if it didn't work out this day, well, you figure out how is it going to work the next day. So again, I always come back to how are you looking at it, and how are you talking to yourself about that situation, which is the most important thing. Like, oh my God, I made a mess of this, or wow, that was a really challenging day. I think I'm going to sit back and think about it so that when I go in tomorrow, I'll have a different approach. Something like that. Yeah.
One thing that other people have shared with me and I have shared with them
Mhm.
is the kind of the fear of being too successful. You know,
Mhm.
like what would happen if you own your own business and all of a sudden you become so successful that you cannot do it all? And so I've talked with other business owners, you know, like, who worry about that. I'm only one person, so what if I do get too much business? What will I do with that?
Okay,
And I certainly have dealt with that myself.
all right.
So,
And that fear, and that's kind of like the Marianne Williamson quote
Mhm.
about, you know, who are you not to shine, but has it held you back?
I think it has in the past. I think
Okay.
I'm learning to get over that now.
Right,
And
right.
that, you know, there are other ways, and just, you know, sitting down and actually troubleshooting and saying, okay, if that did happen,
Right,
what would I do? What
Right.
differently? And how would I get additional help? But
right.
I've heard other people say that too, and
Uh-huh.
especially people who are, you know, trying to raise a family, they have a home business, and they're
Mhm.
trying to have some work-life balance.
Right,
It can be challenging.
yep. But I think it also, if you had all the skills to get there in the first place, to become successful, that successful, you would certainly be able to have those skills to then see it the next step. I have a current coaching client, and she has an MBA, she has a degree from a prestigious college. I mean, she's very bright, but she spent years at home with children, and her confidence is so low. And I said, as she put herself through, you know, both colleges, you know, the undergrad and the graduate degree. And I said, think of those skills you used. You still have those skills. You still have all that, like, persistence, and you're not going to give up, and you're a hard worker right now. So it's not forgetting, okay, you did something years ago. Yeah, you can still do that. It's still part of you. No one said this yet, but for me, it's been other people's voices. Yeah, like parents or teachers. Does anyone remember a teacher saying something to them and them going, I guess I can't do that? Anybody? No? You guys all had nice teachers? No?
Well, when you said about the stick figures, that reminded me, I had an art teacher in elementary school, 3rd or 4th grade, and I loved art, but I didn't think she liked me very much, and we each had a responsibility at the end of the day or week or whatever and my job was to clean the sponges, and I forgot to clean the sponges, and she took me. I'm still traumatized by this, honestly, and that's one of the reasons I don't have confidence in. I can only do stick figures. I was tracing that back. I didn't do it, and I remember her taking my report card, crossing off the B, and putting a C. Thank you. I've for my entire life.
Who was that?
So, Ms. Schwartz, and so anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm so intimidated. I really thought about taking a class. It's like,
Right.
and,
But that would be the best thing for you.
Yeah.
But I think that's happened to a lot of us. It might be just something a parent might have said, or a friend said, and it could even be inadvertent.
Right.
And it's not coming, they're not being judgmental, although it sounds like this art teacher might have been. Or it could be a teacher where they are in a position of judgment, and then you take it to heart. So again, it's how do you then say, okay, I heard these messages, but I really do want to learn how to draw, so I'm going to do this. So I think a lot of us are still processing. I remember practicing the guitar. I still remember exactly where it was in my house, on the floor. I was in college. And my father said, he was not mean, he didn't mean this, he said, why would anybody spend time learning that instrument? And I thought, because I had taught myself, I thought it was kind of cool, I thought this was, and I loved it, and I love music, but it's those messages that, just like you feel a little diminished. But so it's coming back to who you really are, what you really love, and doing it.
It does seem too that we tend to, I know for myself, I tend to weight the negative much heavier than the positive. It's like I have one person make a complaint, and it just wipes out the other country that said wonderful things.
Yeah, really.
And it seems like that's, I don't know if that's human nature or what, but like the one art teacher, that you have this negative thing, and we forget about all the good things that, you know?
You know, that's a great question. As I was preparing this, I mean, this is a huge topic, you know, and it has a lot of depth and has a lot of breadth. And that is a great question. Why do we let one negative comment get inside us and really and poison us? And that's one of the 4 agreements is don't personalize. And we'll go over that. But it's like when other people say things, they're saying it from their perspective and their needs. And to take that in and personalize it can be really, really destructive. One other one I wanted to put that it's always been big for me is messages from the culture. I don't know if this is true from everybody else. This is from, excuse my writing. Meaning all the media images and all that pressure to look this way and dress this way. And I've always found that really oppressive. And trying to figure out where I can be happy in that. Yes?
I think related to that is assuming that there's one way to live life, or that other
Yes.
people's way of living life is the way that I should live when that doesn't feel right. No.
Yeah, no, and that's why I put that Emerson quote, you know, it's really the to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. So again, it's listening to your voice, and maybe there's part of the culture you want to take, but, you know, how can you be creative and be who you are and still be accepted? And so, you know, it's our culture can be pretty unforgiving, and, you know, yes.
There was something in the Globe yesterday about somebody painted a mural at Northeastern that
I saw that.
says, "Keep smiling."
Yeah.
And it's to help, it's to address the way women are expected to behave in our culture. You know, we're just supposed to walk around all happy and.
Yeah. So they say, keep smiling, I don't get it. So was it take off? It's like,
Don't tell me to
I-
smile.
That's
Isn't that
what
what it was?
that's what it was.
Stop telling me to smile.
Right. Yeah. Stop.
oh.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like people are telling you to smile? That's one I haven't heard. Are we supposed to keep smiling? Nobody told me that. Okay, so that's an interesting way to deal with it. All right.
So Karen, can I just say something about the be impeccable with your word? And I
Yeah.
think you kind of said that when you were talking about the gremlins of self-doubt.
Mhm.
But the words that I like are the negative self-talk.
Okay.
So I think the negative self-talk is part of that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, because I think, you know, what you said is like, you know, what we say to others, but it's what do we say to ourselves?
Yeah, so I think this is the same as the gremlins of self-doubt. Yeah, absolutely. Also, I just want to put bosses in here. I don't know, for some reason, when there's someone in authority, all of a sudden they have more power. And so I think some of us think if your boss says something, it's more true than, you know, you take it to heart. Also, it can bring up a lot of fear because you don't want to lose your job, you want to be seen as competent. But when you start questioning your own competency, even though you know you can do it, because of the way someone else is perceiving it, I think that can be really, really tricky. Yes?
One thing I'm thinking about is about the negative self-talk and the messages from the culture. Also, just like our own internalized perceptions of what other people are about. Like I think we always think everybody else has it all together, they know what
Yeah.
they're doing. They,
Right.
you know, don't struggle with.
They don't, we're all a mess. We really are. I was nervous doing this and it's on confidence. I thought, oh, you can't look nervous, Karen, it's about confidence, and that made me more nervous. So, okay, so you know what, that's a perfect segue to the 4 agreements, because one of them is about assumptions. Don't make assumptions about what other people are thinking, ask questions. So the next page, Don Miguel Ruiz, he wrote this book, it's called The 4 Agreements. Actually, it's now the 5 agreements, and I brought the book in, there's the 5th agreement, but I just wanted to cover a couple today, which is don't don't take anything personally, and don't make assumptions. God bless you. But of course, be impeccable with your word. Again, is very, very key for the messages you give yourself and other people. And I don't know, the 4 agreement, it's just been, I have them up in my office, and I cannot tell you how many clients have been helped by don't take things personally, and they've gone out and gotten the book. I have no, money involved in the book, don't worry, but it's really a wonderful book. So I could read, do I have time to read all these? Do you want to read them on your own? Would that be quicker? Okay, why don't you read this page and the next page on your own, and then we'll talk about it. Please, thank you.
Passing the book around.
Sure. But this is on the 5th agreement, so it might be a little confusing.
Oh, okay.
But it's the same author, so John McGill.
I see.
And you can also get it on audio.
Oh,
If you're in
really?
the car a lot.
Oh, that's great.
I'll put it up here. Include the evals with the 10 minutes.
It's just allergies. Oh, it's fine, thank you. Really? Thank you.
Everybody have a chance to read it? I'd like you to think about it. Have you ever been in that situation where you,
Thank you.
has everyone had a chance? Sorry. Anyone think of a situation where they've taken something personally?
Great. I get them at Whole Foods?
Or they've made an assumption? Anyone want to share anything from experiences from either or?
When I was younger and my dad was an English major, so he would always critique my writing, and I always took it so personally, like he was attacking me as a person because I didn't write something
Right.
the best way. And he was coming from a good place. He was trying to help me, be a better writer, but I always felt so attacked, and I would always take it so personally.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
Then were you able to move past that?
Yeah, it took a while. I started taking critiques from other people.
Okay.
And so because they were a little bit more separated, that I was able to, in the long run, it was fine, but it took me a long time to be able to take any sort of critique from him.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I do think when anyone's sort of an authority as boss, teacher, parent, you tend to take it more personally in your relationship with them. Anybody else? None of you take things personally? Because I do think you have to be careful, because if you do, then you are agreeing in a way. You're letting their beliefs get in affect you. So it's something to be really aware of. And making assumptions, yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna add, it's funny, coming from the other side, as Kara was saying that, I suddenly realized as a parent, I've been guilty of critiquing my kids, but I think I'm helping them. But just listening to her, I'm thinking, I've got to really watch that, I guess. 'Cause I
Yeah, and I think it's good coming from the other side to be aware of how powerful your messages can be to your kids. I know I go through the same thing. It's like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. You know, that was like too much, or I'm going to back off. I'm putting too much pressure. It's a hard balance, you know?
Yeah, I don't stop to think about the power that I have as a parent, like that I'm.
Right.
I'm,
Great point.
In that more authority positions.
That's a great point. What about assumptions? Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna share that I can't even give examples of anything that I take personally because I take everything personally.
Uh-oh.
And, no, I do. And I think that it's a habit. And just recently, I don't know what exactly, made me start to think differently, and this is a good, this is a good affirmation that I'm moving in the right direction, but it's just, it's just an awareness that it really isn't about me so much of the time. I don't,
It's almost never about you. I hate to say that. Like, really. When people are always coming from their own perspective, and you can get thrown off balance a lot. And it's not to say don't take in what people are saying. You mean, because, people have valuable things to say. Judge it, don't judge it. Think about it, but be able to separate what is true for you. And assumptions, I just find these such simple things to live by, and they can be profoundly helpful. And especially, I'm often a career coach, sometimes life, but more a career coach, and these kind of things really help people get through work, ask more questions, get clear about what their expectations are, so then they can feel more confident that they're moving forward. So then I just put down some tools. These are almost tools for life, but it's focused on confidence, to build it from the inside out. Follow the 4 agreements. Seek therapy if you have unresolved issues. Seek coaching if you want support moving forward, and you have my phone number. Be with people in your life who are supportive of you and bring out the best in you. It can be poison if you have people who are negative about you, and sometimes you have to get out of the situation. Avoid energy draining people. Practice saying no thanks to negative situations and people. Remind yourself of your core strengths. Do affirmations. Everyone know what an affirmation is? Anyone not know what an affirmation is? It's something you say to yourself and you repeat it like a mantra. And it is like, say you're working on something specific, like, someone give me something.
Like maybe you're afraid of meeting new people.
Maybe you're afraid of meeting new people. So you say something like that's true to you, like, every day and in every way I will try and be more open to meeting new people. And you say it to yourself enough that you believe it and you start doing it. Affirmations can be very powerful. Meditate. If you have a spiritual path, follow it. Practice self-care. Eat well. Exercise. Sleep. Put yourself as a priority sometimes. Take time to do whatever gives you joy. Happiness and confidence are close cousins. Develop new skills. Grow professionally. Move out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself. Slow down and breathe. Go at your own pace. This is just kind of life tools. Live in the moment. Don't project fears into the future. Fears and confidence are connected. Join a support group or like-minded group. Make new friends. Keep a gratitude journal. If you are an introvert, have confidence in your own quiet, reflective ways. The book Quiet is about the strength of introverts. And if you're an introvert, it's a great book. It will really make you look at yourself differently, because our culture is so pro-extroverts. You got to be gaga, like the keep smiling thing. It's like, yeah, you got to smile, you got to be, whatever. I threw in Desiderata. Is anyone familiar with Desiderata? Okay, it's just a beautiful, beautiful piece of writing. And I've had this since college, and there's some things that have always stuck in my mind, and I only think I have time to read those. But if you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter. For always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career. However humble, it is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. But do not I'm going to move down, so just you can just listen. But do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With its shams, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be careful, strive to be happy. Those are the last two lines that should go in there.
It's because of my refrigerator.
Oh, it's a beautiful, it's so wise, it's just wonderful. So anyhow, I hope you all keep thinking of your core strengths and stretch out of your comfort zones, that you think of the form agreements, you don't personalize, you realize it's coming from somebody else, and you remain centered, and that you do whatever you need to do for self-care and growth so that you can feel more confident as you go through life. And again, we all know it's a process of building and maintaining. It falls down, you lose your job, a lot of people lose their confidence, you got to build it up again. Yeah.
So do you think this gets better as you get older, and that's kind of the wisdom of getting older? And like I found I hit 50 and things kind of changed. It was like you get more comfortable in your skin. You know who you want to hang out with.
I totally agree, but then life can give you a boom.
Right.
Like I work with a lot of people over 50 who have lost their jobs. They're devastated.
Right.
It's a horrible climate. And they're like 50s, 55, 60, and they're smart, they have degrees, they have experience, and their confidence is going down the tube.
Yeah.
So I think they have more skills to work with it and build it back up, but it's tough. But I do agree, yes, you get more comfortable in your own skin. Yeah, and the best thing about being older is like, who cares?
Who cares?
Really? That's what I've gotten to. Who cares? Those are evaluations, please, and they should just take a minute. Oh, also, if anyone would like a free 30-minute session with me on the phone or in person, it's part of this offer. There's a little evaluation here, and if you could be on my mailing list, that'd be fine. If not, I totally get that as well. And thank you. You've been a wonderful participatory audience, which has been very helpful.